I have a passion for fabrics and for colors and combining things in new ways. I remember learning new techniques, but I honestly cannot remember learning the first time that I learned to thread a needle or make my first few stitches. I was so little. My mom loved to sew. She thought it was important. My name is Pam Byrd and I am a teacher. I teach and that's my passion, but my other passion is sewing. I've been sewing for as long as I can remember. Me and my mom always helped with researching activities and finding things that we could do. And while we were working on some things for the Blast from the Past history camp here at the museum, she called me and said, I've got an idea for a sewing activity we can do, and I think you're gonna like it. What she brought to me was this little doll, only about 8 inches tall. And she had drawn out the pattern from another doll pattern. She had taken 2 of the doll's bodies and the hands, and she left off the feet and just stitched those 2 dolls together. I worked with her to make it a little bigger because the smaller dolls were really difficult to stitch. If you know anything about sewing or if you've ever tried before, you know the smaller it gets, the harder it gets to stitch and to stitch correctly. So the larger dolls are a little bit easier to stitch, but then they're also, I've found a really good size for little girls. They love running around with these larger dolls. So this doll is a 2-sided doll. And so these would have been popular in the 1800s. We don't know exactly why, but we do know that traditionally they would have been white on one side and black on the other side. We can make all kinds of assumptions about why that might be, but it's really just a guessing game at this point. So it's really important to me that I continue working with textiles and working with sewing and fabrics for a lot of different reasons. It is a passion of mine. I just love the way that the fabrics look, the way that you can put things together to make something go from a simple sheet of fabric to something beautiful and functional. This summer has made it a lot more important to me that I keep this tradition going because this summer we lost my good friend Miss Eva, who did teach me so much about sewing and about how to do construction correctly. I hear her voice whenever I sew, and whenever I look at a quilt or I look at a fabric, I think about what she would say. When I teach in my classroom, I always tell my students, if you thump the presser foot, I'm gonna thump your head. It's something that she always told me. And I think I'm gonna always keep doing this with her in the back of my mind. It's a way of remembering her and at the same time that I get to do something that I truly love.